day from time to time, and the gray weather doesn't help, but there's a short, intense workout that can make a difference. Here with the demo, please welcome from Vigor Ground Fitness and Performance in Renton, Luca Hocevar, along with a couple of his students.
Yeah. All right, guys, so what we're gonna do today, this is gonna be a quick workout that you can do pretty much anywhere. We're just gonna use body weight. You can use it in the living room if you're on a hotel workout. And we're gonna touch on a couple different things. Main exercises that everybody should be essentially doing, and also some mobility drills that make you feel better. Everybody sits a lot, so tightness in the low back, shoulders. So what I'm gonna do is take Sharda and Carlos through a workout. And Sharda's gonna be doing a regress version, a little bit more beginning version, and Carlos is gonna be doing a little bit more advanced version of these. So we're just gonna start and go into these circuits. So guys, we're gonna start with body weight squats here and squat jumps here. All right, so staying nice and tall, shoulder width apart, and start going down. Sharda, let's go. Carlos, you're jumping up into it. Good. Ripping those feet apart, making sure your spine is nice and tall. Great job, keeping it pushing. So try to land soft. If you're doing squat jumps, you're trying to land soft. Sharda, just keeping her core nice and engaged, ripping those knees out, keeping them in line with the toes. A couple more seconds, and break. All right, second one we're gonna go into is push-up position. Now, Sharda's gonna be doing what we call a level 2 with on her knees. Carlos is gonna be level 3, going full, basically on the toes, a little bit harder variation. Both of them are gonna push their hips through, squeeze their glutes, and push away. So you can see that the shoulders and hips move at the same time, and at the top, they're pushing away, their neck is nice and tall, right? So we're working shoulders, core, even glutes, and keeping those great positions. So we're gonna do a couple more reps here, pushing away. We're gonna try to get all the movements in for the body, right? From the lower body, the upper body, engaging the core. You're gonna pop right out of it. All right, so the next exercise is gonna be mobility drill. Okay, so they're gonna go into what's called a hinge position. So like you're picking something up off the floor. From that position, we're gonna do an upper back rotation. This is great to open up that upper back where people are very tight with the shoulders, and they're just gonna start rotating and breathe out at the top. Now you can see they're moving from the chest versus just the shoulder. So this is a great drill throughout the day to get you a little loose. So we're combining some high intensity, but also with some mobility so that you're like moving and feeling better. Now we're gonna do a couple more of the reps right here before we go on to the next one. And break. All right, next one we're gonna go lunges. Now Sharda's gonna go reverse lunges, which stress the knee a little bit less. All right, so if you have any type of knee issues, a reverse lunge is a little bit better. Carlos is gonna go forward lunges, and then halfway through he's gonna go into jumping lunges. So that's a more progressed version that just cranks the intensity up a little bit. So we're gonna start it off. You can see, once again, always focusing on keeping that core engaged so they're moving from the hips, staying nice and tall, feeling that whole foot and driving through it. Carlos is gonna like step up the intensity. So if you wanna make it a little bit harder, up to you. If you wanna make it a little easier, you go at your own tempo. There is no right or wrong here as long as you're moving. All right, we're gonna go a couple more seconds here and break. This next one, you're gonna keep a couple breaths. We call high knees. Now, Sharda's gonna keep the knees a little bit lower, so anybody can do this, right? She's gonna go fast feet, but not as high with the knees. Carlos, he's gonna go a little bit more intense. So you can make this as hard as you can. We're just gonna go 15 seconds. All right, ready in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So you can see like you're trying to punch the ground away, right? That's your focus, and you can make the intensity as hard, or you could go like a little slower. Like I said, as long as you're moving, you're winning. Right? It's not about being perfect, it's just about progressing and doing a little bit more than you did yesterday and last week. All right, and next one we're gonna do a hollow hold. This is a complete core exercise, right? So they're gonna go down into the ground. From here, once again, one is easier, one is harder. So Sharda's gonna push her low back into the ground, look through her legs and basically engage that core. Same thing with Carlos. Now she's just gonna stay there and imagine she's pushing my hand down. So that's really engaging her abs. Now Carlos is gonna make it hard and extend his legs out and point his toes, and make sure his low back is pushing into the ground, getting his hands overhead. So that's a little bit more challenging. Doesn't look too challenging, but what ends up happening, the abs are working the whole time and they're just breathing. And break. And last but not least, we're gonna go with a hip flexor stretch. So for everybody that sits a lot and they're in this position, their low back gets tight, we wanna open that up. So they're gonna go into a 90-90 position. So this position on the ground and put the knee down. Now they're gonna push their hand into the quad, squeeze their glutes as hard as they can, keep their abs nice and tight, and keep pushing for about 5 seconds. And then they're gonna exhale and just drop that hip and open it up. Right? So we're trying to open up that front side of the hip and loosen up that back. So for the second part, they're gonna put their hands down in what we call a Spider-Man lunge position. So they're gonna extend that back foot out and just gonna stay down. Once again, now we're opening up that hip, We're getting that glute to work, and they're gonna rotate and open up to the ceiling and just get the thoracic rotation. So opening up. Once again, we're trying to get the upper back opened up, nice and loose, and they just do that for a couple of reps on each side until they're done. And altogether, that's probably gonna be about one round that takes about 3 minutes. You can go anywhere from 20 to 60 seconds per exercise, completely up to you. You wanna do a couple rounds? You wanna just start with one if you haven't done anything? It doesn't matter as long as you're moving forward.
That's
All right,
terrific.
thanks. Great job, guys.
Thank you.
Great job.
Good job, students.
Awesome job, guys.
Thank you so much.
We always high five at
Awesome.
the end.
We need some water for our students. Pronto. Did you know what you were getting into, that you had to do the hardest one? Thank you both. Lucas, so what's like just one move if we just want to get started? One move that would kind of help change our day? Because part of this is high intensity. It doesn't take a long time, but you
Yes.
can kind of punch it out and feel better.
The great thing about it is that you can kind of pick and choose. So if you looked at all these different moves, for instance, the high knees is one that's going to get your heart rate up
Yeah.
really fast. And when we talk about getting out of maybe a little bit of a rut, what's great about exercise that it does so many different things for the brain. It gets you focused, the mental, and it releases endorphins.
Right.
So if you just did those high knees for about 15 to 20 seconds,
You're gonna feel different.
you're going to feel different. Absolutely.
And there's something about that high intensity movement that just moves your brain to a new space.
Absolutely.
Whatever you were stuck on.
Absolutely, and if
you're not stuck
imagine
anymore.
you're having a bad day and thinking about all these different things that went wrong, and the boss said this and this and that, and all of a sudden you do some intense exercise. Your brain focuses on what? Just the exercise right then and there. So it shifts you out of thinking about all the the problems in the day, which is why this is even just 2-3 minutes of this. Will get you out of a rut, will get you refocused. We'll get your endorphins going, and you're just
That
going
is
to feel
so
better.
cool. That is so cool. Now, you were a basketball player in Europe, right?
Yes.
Professional basketball player. Now you're a fitness and strength coach here in Seattle. What caused the journey?
Well, fitness and sport really kind of saved my life, and so that's why after basketball, I kind of had a identity crisis
Yeah.
of from athlete to what do I do next. But since I was young, that fitness was like really my passion. I was a scrawny kid. It helped me build confidence, helped me build self-esteem. So I wanted to essentially help people help them get out of where they are to where they want to go, because that's what a coach does, just like what it did for me. So that was what led me down to the coaching path in fitness.
That is really cool. Thanks for visiting with us today.
Thank you so
We
much.
Appreciate
Appreciate
it. And we'll put all your info and contact information and details on our website
Awesome.
so people can find you. Still ahead, making a move less stressful for your pets. We'll talk about that in a moment.